All right, Malik Willis, quarterback of the Titans. He was drafted in the third round by Tennessee, and there's a lot of hope and optimism that this guy can help take this franchise to new heights. We'll see how that goes. He had his Titans debut in the first preseason game against the Baltimore Ravens, where he put up an interesting performance. Now, he played in the first half and a little bit of the third quarter before Vrabel took him out. So how did he fare during that time? Well, when you take a look at his performance, there was some up and down moments, but the overall takeaway is that he's very raw and he still has some work to do. However, the guy's got talent, and if he can put in the work, he will be able to maximize that talent. When you take a look at his stats in the first half, not to mention that third quarter, basically the entire time he played, when you take a look at his stats, he was 6 of 11 for 107 passing yards, no touchdowns, no picks. He had a rushing touchdown, and that was basically it. He almost threw a pick six on his second throw, but the cornerback Pepe did not make the catch, so we're not going to count that. But other than that, he was very raw. He showcased his arm. He had a nice throw down the field to one of his receivers, which was like a 30-plus yard gain. So that was a great throw by him. Showed a lot of touch on that pass, so good on him. He also had a nice sidearm throw with pressure in his face, so it shows that he can make those difficult throws. He has the ability to throw sidearm. He just showcased his talent. Not to mention, there were times where he had to take off. The offensive line exactly wasn't, the best in this game, and he was consistently seeing pressure all game. Now, I will say this though, there were plenty of times where he had the ball in his hands and he was holding it for a bit too long and probably should have got the ball out of his hands earlier, but he's still a rookie, he's still young, he's got plenty of time to learn, plenty of time to improve on this. But from what we saw of that game, there was some great moments, there was some bad moments. When you look at the great moments, yeah, the throw he had down the field, the sidearm, and him showcasing his talent. But when you look at some of the bad, it's just him holding on to the ball too long, not exactly going through his reads as cleanly as you want him to, and I'm not going to say the reluctancy, but the quickness to just kind of take off. Again, part of that has to deal with the offensive line, but part of that has to deal with him not cleanly going through his reads. Still very raw, still a rookie quarterback. He has plenty of work to do, but the talent was there. As a Ravens fan watching him, I really saw his performance somewhat similar to what I saw from Lamar in his, rookie debut against the Bears in the Hall of Fame game. There were moments where you saw some great throws from him, one or two great throws, and then a couple of throws where it's like, ooh, that's not great. But yeah, you saw the ability. Obviously, this guy has the ability to take off. He had a nice move, man, where he legit ended up shaking. He got the best of Kyle Hamilton, which, as a Ravens fan, I don't like seeing that. But again, it's the first preseason game for him. He'll have time, but he had a nice move on Kyle Hamilton, and it ended up, taking it in on that rushing touchdown. So he has the ability. I like what I saw from him. There was nothing other than the huge pass and the touchdown run. There's nothing there majorly that stood out, but he did make some plays. I didn't exactly know how long they were going to keep him in there, but the fact that he came in that first drive in the third quarter and then that got immediately pulled, that was interesting. Vrabel actually spoke up on that, and I don't know if they asked him in a press conference, but he spoke up on that and said he chose to take Malik Willis out because he wanted Willis to throw the ball and he wasn't throwing the ball, so he just yanked him out. Which I find that interesting that you would choose to say that. I mean, because from what I understand, like I said, one of the negatives that we were seeing here was Malik Willis was holding on to the ball too long. He wasn't cleanly going through his progressions. But again, he's a rookie quarterback. Not every rookie quarterback's going to come in and be able to cleanly go through their progressions and get the ball out quick. And you're not expected to do that as a rookie. You got work to do. Not every quarterback that comes into the league is going to be immediately able to pick up on this, cleanly go through their progressions, and make the right read and right play every single time. It's not going to happen. As a rookie, yeah, that's one of the things you have to work on. I don't expect him to have that. But, when he was saying that Willis was just reluctant, he wasn't throwing the football, he was taking off, I felt it was about half the time. Because, half of his takeoffs was due to the pressure he was seeing. That offensive line didn't exactly do the best of job protecting Malik. He was consistently seeing pressure. That was actually one of the takeaways I had from the Ravens game. From my side when I was watching it, Ravens defense was consistently able to get pressure on Malik Willis throughout the entire time, and that forced him out of the pocket and forced him to have to try and make throws downfield, or either have to try and extend the play or either take off. So he was consistently seeing pressure. That's what I saw. He was consistently seeing pressure, which forced him out of the pocket. However, there were moments where he could have stepped up and he didn't and chose to take off. So I see where Vrabel is coming from in those circumstances. But given the position he was in, given the situation he was given, I understood why he took off in some of those cases. And overall, his performance isn't spectacular, but the talent is there. The talent is there. You know, he's got speed. He's got speed. He has the ability to take off and make some moves in open space. You know, he has that capabilities, and if he's given time, he can make some of those throws down the field. However, we want to see the consistency. Obviously, 55% completion from the field isn't exactly great as a quarterback, so he will have some work to do. But considering this was his first ever NFL game, and it's a preseason, obviously, he didn't do that bad. Honestly, he didn't do that bad. I'm interested to see how he's going to look in the second preseason game and see what improvements he's going to make in terms of trying to handle that defense, because, you know, you had the first game experience. You saw how it was. You got used to the pace. Now it's time to see if you can add something else or improve on one aspect that you didn't do. But yeah, other than that, you know, there were definitely some throws where it's like, that throw wasn't out there. Like that one, that second throw that could have been a pick six. Yeah, that was him being too quick to pull the trigger. You know, that was an example of him not cleanly going through his reads. There were definitely some throws like that. A few of those throws where it's like he's not going through his full progressions. It's just like he's trying to get the ball out quickly, and he's either underthrowing or overthrowing it, or just being forced to throw it out of bounds because the pressure's there. But overall, I just like what I saw from Malik Willis. You know, again, it reminds me of what I saw from Lamar in his first preseason game. You know, you see the ability with the legs. You see what he can do in open space. You see his ability to extend the play. And you see that he has the ability to throw the ball and, you know, connect downfield with his receivers. That's all you can ask from a rookie in this debut. Obviously, these aren't amazing stats. Obviously, he didn't have an amazing performance. But from what we saw there, we saw the talent to succeed. He needs to build upon that talent, but we did see the talent. We saw the arm strength. We saw the ability to make moves in open space. Now he's got to put it together. He's got to be more consistent throwing the football. He's got to be willing to stay in the pocket and deliver passes at times, because sometimes he was very reluctant to go out. And at the same time, you need the offensive line to be consistent in protecting you. But there were plenty of times in that game where you just saw him take the snap and he was very quick to just get out of the pocket and start scrambling or rolling around trying to make a play. So he's got to stay in the pocket, be more consistent in that, and try to deliver the ball down the field, and overall try to improve on going through your progressions, because that's definitely important. He's a rookie. I'm not expecting him to just ball out right off the bat in his rookie debut, but like I said, for me personally, what I saw, I liked. There's plenty of things he needs to work on. He's still raw as a quarterback, but from what I saw of him, I liked what I saw. That's just me. With that being said, we will see how Malik does in his second preseason game. Hopefully he makes some improvements on some of the things that he wasn't able to do in this first game, and we'll see how that goes at the end of the day. With that being said, that is all I've got, and I'm out of here, man. Peace!